Whoop, whoop.
Let's do it.
Team Godot. A lot of Godot love in the chat. 10 more days to explain. Nah, you mean be excited? Before we turn on our beautiful video and show this these beautiful faces here, can you guys just confirm you can hear us okay? Streams live. YouTube can see us. Twitch can see us.
Hello, check 1, 2. Yep, I think we're good. We're good to go, Tim. We're all good.
All right, I'm just double checking across platforms. It's a really cool feature that Twitch actually shows you the an advertisement for trying to do your own stream. That's a great feature. All right.
And this year's theme is getting technology to work properly.
No, we're notorious for this. Can't. Okay.
All right, I think it's working.
1. Hello world, my name is Tim Rosick, I'm Rick Davidson, and welcome to the kickoff stream for the GameDev.tv Game Jam 2024. We got a lot going on, but we're gonna join. We're gonna launch a jam today, and we're gonna see all the cool things that come up in the next 10 days. So many cool creations from last year. Rick and I have played through hundreds of games at this point from game jams, and it's always been exciting to see what people come up with. I think you guys are gonna like this year's theme. We're gonna talk about it in 10 minutes, but
10 minutes is the theme reveal. Is that the game plan?
That's the game plan. We're gonna release the theme in 10 minutes. We've got scheduled social posts that are gonna go out. We're gonna talk about it here. I've got a little button that Rick is not allowed to press until that time, in which case it'll put it on the screen.
Why would you even say that? Why would you, now
I'm gonna look for it.
Red button. It's here somewhere. Is it captions? Do I not push that? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So here's the general gist of this stream. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna hype up the jam for 10 minutes. Then we're gonna announce the theme, and then after that we're gonna brainstorm some ideas. Get some people started, because I know as people see themes for the first time with Game Jam, especially if you're new to Game Jam, it's kind of like, wait, what? What do I do now? You just gave me words and I was supposed to make a game out of it. So we're going to kind of explain it a little bit, go over it, brainstorm some ideas with the beautiful come up with some stuff. And then I'm going to be a whole command center thing where I've got to update a bunch of I got to update the itch page. I got to do a bunch of stuff live here, so we'll do that. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? What's everybody's engine of choice this? What are you guys using? Would love to chat. Theme is GTA
Indeed.
6.
There's a lot of conversation in chat about pixelated Tim and low res Tim. So I think because the quality of your connection today, Tim, is a little bit different.
Okay, I apologize for that.
Yeah, these things happen.
I'm gonna change my quality to audio or auto. I don't know if you guys know this, but we kind of launched an entire website over the last 2 weeks, and in the middle of that, well, it's set to auto. But in the middle of that wonderful launch, my desktop died, and so I've got a whole desktop PC setup here that is completely taken apart with wires everywhere, all running to my laptop. And I don't think my laptop is quite handling what I'm trying to do to it. So that's the technical hiccups. We're also on Wi-Fi versus wired this time around, because modern laptops don't have Ethernet ports. Got a dongle, I just can't find it. I'm seeing a lot of good.
So we're gonna do the reveal on the hour, if I understand correctly, and then up until then we're going to talk a little bit about the rules. Do we have the rules figured out? Well, of course we got the rules figured out.
No, we're gonna make up the rules on the fly. It's gonna be a whole fun.
So how long? When until when? When's the submission date time?
Yeah, so let me see if this will make everything worse. Maybe.
Yeah,
if it does.
Oh, there we go. It snapped in. It was blurry, but now we can see. Woo.
So as you can see, we start in 6 minutes, and we keep the rules pretty simple. Number 1, you got to submit them by June 3rd. That's the end of the game jam. Number 2, you can build a game solo with a team. If you're on a team, one person is designated uploader, and the max team limit size is 6 people, just so you guys know. Free assets only. You cannot use paid assets, and you can't use paid assets that were free at a certain point in time but are still paid. So they have to be freely available for everybody. That's the rule. And then bugging submissions are totally okay. I know we have a lot of new people. We have a lot of people that are new to game jams and game dev in general. So if you think your thing's bugging, you think it's not going to work, and people are going to be upset about it, don't worry. You can still submit. You can still fix your bugs after the jam ends. You won't be, penalized for that or anything. But we just ask you don't add to the game or anything or polish it at all. But them's the rules. We don't have a lot of rules here because we believe in a lot of creativity and unlocking a little bit of that rules.
I know we say it every year, but the really, really, really important thing is just participating and submitting whatever you've got at the end of it. So it's not all about making a great game. It's not about winning the GameDev.tv game jam. It's about participating. And it sounds a little bit cliche, but everyone who submits their game is a winner. Hence why everyone who submits their game gets one free course of their choice. We're still doing that, right? I assume we are.
Yeah, cool. Keyword submit though. If you don't submit, you don't get a course.
Exactly. So that's the important part here of the journey as a game developer, is to give it a go, give it a try. Even if you're like, oh, my game's terrible. The important thing is to just submit it, to put it in there, to put it out to the universe and say, here's what I made. Because my philosophy is you've got to make the not very good things before you can make the good things. And if you haven't made any not very good things, then you've still got to go through that path to get there. So it's really important, have pride in the fact that you did a thing, more so than having pride in the fact that this is amazing. And if it turns out to be amazing, bonus, that's great.
Yeah. So there's some confusion in the chat about what hot patches are allowed. So basically, you can't say, oh, I wish the character was yellow instead and change that after the jam. But, if somebody can't play your game because you didn't make the menu screen clickable, you're allowed to go and fix that. Just don't change the general game. Fix bugs, fix problems that are preventing players from having experience, but don't change the general game. This is honor system. We're not going to have a bunch of hound dogs watching over everything and be like, this guy changed this and he changed 10% of the code. You as a developer could figure out what constitutes a bug and what doesn't. It's a very relaxed jam. It doesn't have a ton of rules. We're just trying to make some cool games,
Yeah. And if anyone's looking for potentially a teammate or potentially some folks to brainstorm ideas with, or maybe to work in parallel, like you're working on your thing, I'm working on my thing, but hey, let's talk about it as we go. Where's the best place, Tim? What part of the GameDev.tv community conversation is a good place to go just to hang out with other people? Would it be our Discord server? Is that the best place to go?
Discord's probably the best place. There's a whole game jam channel that's set up and ready for people to use, so you can meet teammates there. Generally anywhere. I mean, some social media channels are better than others for meeting people, but Discord's the best way to interact with our community, so you want to find other people that are doing the jam. Plenty of people are posting about it in there, so that'd be a good place to start.
Awesome. So we've got 3 minutes till the reveal.
Sorry. Yeah, 3 minutes. Someone said, I think the reward being available to anyone who submits will prevent a lot of cheating. We went through this a lot. We're very against any rewards for winning the jam because we don't think it's about winning. I think it's about submitting your game. And then we tried to, see what if people join the jam, because some people don't submit. But I think submitting is what we're trying to encourage here. Making a game in 10 days is quite the feat, and I think it intimidates a lot of people. but it's also a lot more accessible than I think most people think it is. It just, you got to change the definition of what is a game. Like, you're not going to make Assassin's Creed in 10 days, but you might be able to make Flappy Bird really, really cool in 10 days, you know? So
Yep.
I think everybody can submit regardless of your skill level. And that's what we're
And a reminder as well that you don't have to be a GameDev.tv student or participant to participate in this game jam or to submit. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome. Just to be clear, sometimes people are like, oh, well, I don't have any of their courses, so I assume it's not for me. But this is public. It's open for everyone. So if you're watching this later on, also, you don't have to start today. If you see this particular conversation in a couple of days' time, oh, that sounds kind of cool, then come join us. Even if you've only got one Saturday next week to work on your game and you're just going to make a quick little game in a couple of hours just for fun, cool, that's great as well. So there's no expectation on having to put in a full 10 days amount of work in it, because the reason we do it weekend to weekend is a lot of people just don't have their calendar free and available like that. So we say, well, here's a weekend you can work on it, here's another weekend you can work on it, and here's time throughout the week you can work on it. So you don't have to do a 10 days amount of work, just to be really clear on that. You can absolutely do half a day's amount of work. Do what's right for you.
For sure. That's a great way to put it, Rick. And that's a big part of it. Just 10 whole days. You don't have to use them all. You can use whatever time you think you need to. Okay, we got 60 seconds. Who's ready for this? We need some hype music. We need to change.
I can hear our music in the background.
Change the hype music to like.
Is it elevator music hype music? Because if so, you nailed it. You've nailed it. Dun, dun,
I change it to epic now. It just says epic. Cool. I don't know what that means, but now it's epic music.
Sponsored by Unreal.
Game Jam is coming up. Okay, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
The theme is.
The theme is Last Stand. Last Stand is the theme. It's now on the itch page. It's down. Yeah. It's
Last Stand. What does that even mean, Tim? Last Stand. What's Last Stand all about?
Well, number one, everybody gets to determine what that means to them. But there's a couple different ways you can take this, right? So when it comes to Game Jam themes, you can say, okay, well, what if I take this literally? What if it's the last dude that's literally standing? What if it's, a bunch of people standing and you got to shoot a bunch of people until they fall over or something, right? Or you can think of it metaphorically, like what if it's like a wall and you have to hold off an invasion, right? It's the last stand of humanity, like some Lord of the Rings Two Towers type of shit. You know what I mean? Like you can have epic battles in there.
What if you make a game where the player's you've only got one life? So every time you play is Last Stand. There you go. Just make a roguelite and Last Stand. Easy. Cheating. Tim's frozen.
People are saying survival. Survival genre is fantastic for this. Mm-hmm. The Last Stand is a great type of theme for a survival game.
I like the idea of being...
Can I use my own assets? Sure you can.
Like the Alamo kind of philosophy where you've got a gazillion enemies coming to get you, or you're trying to smash your way through, or you've got that one last shot to seal victory. It could even be very story based as well. I think, like if people out there want to flex their narrative muscles, I think you could do something around who you are, why it's the Last Stand.
Yeah. This theme was chosen specifically because of how flexible it is, right? Like there are mechanical themes that are like you have to make something with these mechanics, or story themes that you have to make something with the story. But this one can kind of be all of them. So it makes it easier in some ways because you can kind of make whatever game you want. It makes it harder in some ways because you can make whatever game you want, and that could be overwhelming. But seems like a lot of people like it in the chat. Good. This is the first year we're not voting on themes, and we put a lot of thought into the theme for that instance, because voting, you never really know what you're going to get, right? People, I don't think people understand the gravity of that decision, and they vote on some fun stuff because it'll be funny.
It's a good time, I think, Tim, if anyone's watching live at the moment, if you've got any questions for us, to throw it in the chat. Questions about the game jam, questions about submission or the rules, just questions in general. So I do see one here, which is, do you play all the submissions? Historically, we've had at least someone on our team play most of the submissions, even if it's not one individual playing them all. So we try to at least have a look at them all.
We play a ton of them. If you're referring to specifically on stream, we play some of the top rated games usually on stream. And we may do that last year. We have to kind of see how it goes. Or we may do it this year again, but traditionally we've done that. So that's always on the table. But yeah, we've got a lot of people on our team and they all like to play different games. So most of the games get played several times.
Yep. Just reiterating, there's another question. Can we, is it too late to sign up? It's like, it's not too late. You can sign up for the game jam the day before it finishes, if you so desire. There's no time limit on when you join, when you participate. You don't have to submit just because you join. You don't have to complete your game. You're welcome to give it a shot, see how it goes for you. This is intended to be as friendly as possible for people who are doing their first ever game jam. And we encourage everyone who's on their game development journey, even if you've only watched 3 lectures in the very first course you've ever participated in, to at least give it a go, to try something, to submit, to work on something and submit it, even if you're really, really new to game development. It's such a critical part in your learning and your evolution.
For sure. So someone asked, can you talk about submitting process? Are we sending files or hosting the game somewhere? Yeah, so if you go to itch.io and the game jam link, any point during the jam, you can actually submit the game and it'll ask you to fill out some information, like what's the name of the game, get some screenshots, and then also upload the files. You can upload any type of game, so it will be hosted on itch. I recommend that you export a web build because people tend to play web builds a lot more, just because they can be played from the browser versus like having to download an executable, which is kind of, can be dangerous. So I recommend that.
Totally. So just a reminder, if you're just tuning in now, the Game Jam 2024 theme is Last Stand. Last Stand. And we're taking some questions at the moment to see if people have any clarifications they want. Hopefully you're all your brain's starting to go and think about things. Just one of the things I like to do, Tim, I know this might seem a little bit naughty, but I tend to go into a game jam already with a genre of game in mind. So if I've been practicing or working on making platformers of late, or if I've been making a twin stick shooter and I'm really in that frame of mind, then I'll take that genre and I'll say, cool, how do I modify it or evolve it or adapt the design to fit this theme? Rather than saying now, I've got no idea what sort of genre I should make. I think the genre, what type of game it is not as important as just getting started on something. And like I'm a game designer, that's my background. And I've been in game jams where many, many, many times you see, here's the amount of time you've got in the camera. So you can see the amount of time you've got, and people spend 3/4 of that time debating, discussing, thinking about the design, which is completely an ineffective way of making a game. If you can, choose your genre immediately. Tower defense, cool, I'll just make a tower defense. Done, no more discussion about it. What am I going to do? Last stand. Well, I'm going to take a couple of hours to think about that, and then done, it's locked in, and then you spend the rest of the time making the thing. And sometimes people they think that having a really nifty, clever, special, unusual design is how to do well in a game jam. But in my personal opinion, having a simple design and then executing it really well, that's the secret to success. More and more, spend as much time as possible polishing your game and as little as time possible figuring out features and implementing features.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that last part, for sure. And from my perspective, I think I'm a little bit different than you on this, Rick, but like, it's great that everybody has different opinions on all this stuff. One of my favorite ways to join jams, because I've done a couple dozen of them at this point, is I don't go in with anything. I don't go with any prep. I like to see the thing and write down all the ideas I can think of, and then slowly sort of eliminate ideas, right? So I write down 20, and then I get down to 5, and then I go down to like 3, and then I'm like, okay, this is the one. And I like to make 2 or 3 different prototypes too. I probably wouldn't recommend that for beginners and people that are new to things, just because it takes a lot of time and you can get lost doing a bunch of stuff you're not supposed to do. But I like, especially for longer jams, a weekend jam would probably be a little bit different, but a 10-day jam is enough to brainstorm and think about some stuff for a little while. So it just kind of depends on how your creative process works and kind of what you want to lock down. But the more variables you can turn into constants the early on, the better off you're going to be. And I think that's kind of what you were saying, right? It's like, don't leave it up to like, what is this game on day 7? Because then you're going to have a bad time.
So, Tim, zillions of questions coming in. I'm just going to go through a couple of them super quick. From Phantom, are there any rules for VR games? I don't expect anyone to have a VR headset, so judgment will be difficult. If you want to make a VR game, make a VR game. Sometimes it's useful to record some videos of your game, just so if people don't have the required hardware, for example, if it's VR, then they can at least watch your game. Oh, that's kind of cool. So if you want to make a VR game, totally go for it. And then what are the rules about the assets that you can use? Basically, you can use assets that someone else could also use. So free assets, readily available assets, not assets that someone has to pay money for. So you can make your own assets, obviously, but you can't use paid assets. Let's see. Web build versus downloadable build. Again, make whatever type of game you want. If you make a game that's a web build, you will get more people playing it. It's just easier to click and to trust it. If it's an executable, you have to download, not quite as available. But if you're working in Unreal, for example, then that just might be the way that you do things. So, make what works for you. But obviously, if you can make a web GL build or a web build, then it's going to be played a bit more. Question from, where'd it go? It flew off the screen. It was a dang it question about vlogging from... there it is, James Burkett. First, Jam, welcome, James. Awesome. I'm considering vlogging this. Do you recommend this, or does that take up too much time editing, posting, etc.? All right, go for it. Record it as you go. I think if you have an interest in getting some traffic for your YouTube channel or practicing your technique or Twitch streaming, this is a great time to do it. And once again, it's like the spirit of the Jam. It's not about making a AAA best game in the whole universe. It's about practicing. It's about doing it. It's about learning in a safe environment. So if part of what you're interested in is making videos or vlogging or streaming, then absolutely do it. It'll take a bit more time. On one hand, it might slow you up a little bit. On the other hand, it might give you the motivation to keep going and to be a bit more disciplined about working on your game. Yeah,
for sure. I see a question about whether or not you have to submit your source files. No, you do not have to submit your source files this year. Don't cheat. Just because you don't have to submit your source files. But no, nobody's going through them this year.
Yes. Cool. What other questions we got here? Reminder that the theme is Last Stand. The Game Jam has started. It will finish in 10 days or so time. Check out our Discord channel for chatter about what's going on. Go to the itch page, the GameDev.tv Game Jam itch page for all the information you need. All the stuff is in there. Yeah. That's where all the stuff.
If you have any questions that aren't answered in this stream, they're probably answered on that page in the frequently asked questions section at the bottom. Somebody says they're streaming on Monday.
Can you go over the theme again? The theme is Last Stand. Last Stand. So it could be any sort of you're holding off the horde of invaders. You've got one last shot at it. You've only got one life, so it's your last one. Maybe your character is standing, and maybe you sit for the whole game. You're pushing yourself around in an office chair, and then at one point you stand up, and that's how you win the game. I don't know.
You guys seen that game Last Man Sitting?
Yes.
It's pretty cool. It's like a bunch of people in office chairs, and they got guns, and they're like flying around the room. When you shoot the gun, it shoots the office chair. It reminded me of this. Somebody's going to be streaming their Game Jam progress for the first time. That's awesome.
Yes. And if you're streaming or making videos or recording your progress, let us know. Let our team know, and we can give you a shout out. Refer folks to have a look at it and see how you're doing.
Yeah, we can get you on the bottom of the Jam page if you're going to be streaming the Jam.
How would people contact us in regards to that?
Best way is just support at GameDev.tv, and they'll get you on there. They know the protocol.
So email support@GameDev.tv. What also should we expect throughout the Game Jam in terms of the GameDev.tv folks doing some streaming and talking about stuff? I know we've got a couple of folks on our team who are going to be active. Do you know, can you give us a rundown on that, Tim?
We'll have the schedule up soon of who's going to be doing what, but I know we've got that coming on a bunch of our socials. I don't know if it went live right when the jam started, but it should be live today or tomorrow sometime. About who's streaming what. We've got a couple people that are going to stream their game and their jam and all that stuff and what they're doing. And then we've got check-in streams. How's everybody doing? And we'll probably play some games at some point too. So keep an eye out for the schedule and all that stuff. It's going to be up soon, but right now, I mean, focus on brainstorming your game and seeing what you come up with. Zombies type
awesome.
of thing, yeah. How will my teammates receive a free course? Okay, so this question got asked a bunch last year, and the best thing that we came up with was somebody is the distributor of the game. They're the ones that uploads the game to itch.io on their profile, right? Because only one person can upload the game. Upload that game, add your teammates as contributors, and then email support with the list of people on your team, and they'll all receive their emails for their course. That's how to do it. And again, we'll have all that on the FAQ section. We'll have that in a end of jam type of deal and information when that information comes out and all that. But yeah, as long as you're under the 16 member limit, everybody on your team that submitted a game will get a free course.
Just to be clear, Tim said 6 team member, not 16 member. That's kind of what I heard. 16. Oh, 16.
6
Tim said 16.
Team members.
Team member.
Yes.
Yes. And it's one of those things. It's just a bit of a slight bit of encouragement. So you're like, well, I wasn't thinking about submitting it, but I get something by doing this. So it's our way of trying to make it a little bit more meaningful for you, particularly if it's your first ever game jam. Here's something that you get as a tangible outcome for that process. So just trying to give everyone something to focus on and just a little bit of a high five as you cross the finishing line.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to remind people too that this is supposed to be fun and exciting. Sometimes exciting doesn't mean fun, and sometimes fun doesn't mean exciting. So they trade off a little bit. It can get stressful, but like if you're trying to put too much stress on yourself, or you're trying to, know life the whole 10 days, and you start to lose joy, just don't do that. Focus on having a good experience. Focus on making something cool with people you like, and you'll have a good time. And that's what it's about. You don't need the magnum opus of a game. You don't need the most epic thing possible. You don't need, all the team members and all the stuff in a professional AAA game. You can just make something simple and fun and interesting, right? And if you make something bad, that's cool. That's how most games that most people make are bad by default. You got to make a bunch of bad games to make a good one. That's just how it works. So don't worry about that. Don't worry if it's good enough when you're done with it at the end. Sorry, you're about to do a... Well, I said done, and I just wanted to also clarify that defining the word done is very, very difficult, and especially the newer you are, and you just be like, it's not done, but done is also a variable. And there's plenty of games that have been launched on Steam or launched on Nintendo Switch that developer didn't consider them done. So watch out with that word too.
Yeah. Yep. A bunch more questions coming in here. There was a question asking about, can I submit multiple games? And do we have a policy on that, Tim?
You can only submit one game per itch account. I don't care if you submit multiple games, but I don't know how it's going to work with the course thing. We've never had anybody ask that question, to be honest.
Yeah.
You can
I think
games.
The intent is one game per person. I mean, if you happen to be part of someone else's team, like you're doing some audio for someone else's team, I think from a getting a course point of view, we'd have a one course per person philosophy. When it comes to participating in other games, knock yourself out. If you want to be part of 10 teams and 10 games, then absolutely go for it. But we want to make sure we've got some parameters on the whole. Everyone gets a course. There's a bunch of questions about, do you get to choose which course versus is it random? I like the random idea. That sounds fun. But no, you do get to choose. You get to state, here's the course I would like. Just to be clear, it's a course, not a bundle. like we do sell bundles on our site. So it's not,
Yeah.
I want the bundle, it's got everything in it. And a few people saying, oh, I'm a lifetime member already. Well, welcome. That means that you're further along in your journey, and you get the love and affection of Tim Ruswick. He'll come around to your house and give you a big hug, and as opposed to getting another course.
I do want to say though, if you emailed support and said you wanted a random course, I'm sure they would accommodate you.
Yeah, that'd be fun, actually. Yeah.
The peeps in support, and they're fun. They would have.
Yep. Any other questions we've got? Has anyone checked out our new website yet? It's been quite a journey the last week or so of getting it working and not falling over and not breaking, but it represents why Tim and I are both tired, but it also represents a new stage in GameDev.tv, trying to be just that little bit more, what's the word? Professional's not the right word, because look at these two clowns. What's the right word, Tim? I don't know, a little bit better, a little bit gooder.
Gooder.
A little bit gooder.
We get good at game dev. Get good at game dev teaching websites. That's what
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think we can leave the beautiful people to their game jam. Someone said, "How do we profit off of this?" We didn't think that far.
How do we what? Sorry.
How do we profit off of this? It's a community engagement thing. I'm sure it comes.
How do we profit, or how do they profit?
Well, I don't know what the question was, but I think it was how do we profit. I said, how do you profit?
You know, I think it's really interesting. I think everyone in your connection's a bit wonky today, isn't it? Sorry, I keep talking over the top of you. So, yeah, I think we all profit by helping each other out. Like, that's the currency of today's day and age. Having a community, looking after the community, being nice to each other. So as you're working on your game jam, make sure that you're playing other people's games, giving them feedback, helping them out, doing some play testing, so that you scratch my back, I scratch your back. That's the whole energy of it, the whole philosophy of it, what we're trying to create. We know that if people have a safe place to make a game and to submit the game, to say, oh, I made my very first game, here it is, then that's us doing our jobs well. So that's why we do it.
Yeah. And those of
just
you
one
that
last
have known me from... Well, go ahead.
You go. I want to know now. People have known
I was just going to say that I've... from my early days of YouTube, I've wanted to facilitate making games. So I feel like this is a core intrinsic motivator for me to make sure that people make games, because I think it really helped me in my life, and I want to make sure that people can do it too.
Just a couple of final questions while people are still asking them. Do you need to have payments integration to get the free course? I don't believe so. I think it'll be, you'd need to be logged in, so you'd need to be signed up so you've got an account, but it'll just say free, and you're like, cool, I'll buy it for free. Thanks very much. So you wouldn't need to have bank information to get your free course. There's another question. Why doesn't the new website have the skill builder course? I was planning to get it out of this jam. The skill builder stuff we haven't been selling it for a while, because it got the support on it became a little bit tricky. It's still there. It might be something that if you're interested in it, we can offer that as if someone wants to redeem their free course to get skill builder. That's something we could look at. But with our new website, some of the things are a little bit different. Skill builder was sort of shoving a square peg into a round hole, how we had to host it in the past. So we'll see. That's something we can look into. But if you're interested, then ask the support folks.
Yeah.
Will there be a list of ideas like in the previous jams?
All right, everybody.
Oh, sorry. More questions.
Well, I think there's a lot of them. I think we can come up with a few. But I think we're going to leave it to the community to come up with a lot of those. Maybe I'll assemble some of those later in the free time. We didn't really get to those in the stream, but there's a lot of stuff for this theme. I think this theme is pretty flexible. And I think with maybe some minimal brainstorming, maybe here on Discord, I think a lot of people can generate some stuff. So I believe in you guys.
And if there are any questions that we haven't answered that you really want to know, then jump over to Discord and throw them over there, or jump over to the itch page, go to the questions there as well. So Yeah, good luck, everyone. Very excited
Yeah.
to see what people come up with.
Yeah, I'm excited too, and I can't wait to see what you make. And we'll be in touch. Stay tuned for some more streams, and thank you everybody for hanging out. And see you on the other side.
See you soon.
Everybody. Boom. We're gonna end the stream. We're gonna do our little talky talk thing where we talk. But we're really gonna end the stream. But we have to wait for a little bit because of technology. Remember that, Rick? Remember back in the day when we used to do that?
I remember. We'd cut the stream halfway through mid-sentence. Oh, I see on YouTube that the page is up now, so we can stop our rambling and
okay.
adios.